Adrian, when did you get diagnosed with ADHD?
So I was diagnosed with ADHD in March this year. April, May, June, July, August, September, 7 months ago. Yeah, so pretty recently, really. So what gave me the idea of ADHD as a possible diagnosis? I had no idea, personally. It wasn't on my radar at all. It's just a bit embarrassing because I'm a GP by background, so I would have thought I would have known better. But I guess that's part of the condition is you don't have the insight. And yeah, I just thought I was a bit rubbish at being organised. I needed to get better and just, yeah, used to just get really angry with myself at not being able to do simple stuff. I'm frustrated and just read endless self-help books to get better and be better. It never actually worked, but I didn't never stop trying. And it was actually my husband who was talking to a friend who went through an assessment and was talking about the issues that they had, and he was thinking, oh, it sounds a lot like the issues that Adrian has. And so yeah, the penny dropped for him. Interestingly, he didn't share that with me at the time. He just started to ask me some questions one morning when I was trying to get ready to go out and was already late. So yeah, that was an interesting morning, running around the bedroom going, why are you asking me these questions? And then slowly, because I had a bit of knowledge, by the time we got to the final one, I just went, so you think I've got ADHD then, do you? And he was like, oh, I just thought I'd ask it, see what you thought. So I was like, you've already made me late, and sort of stormed out of the house. And then, yeah, I was left just pondering it and wondering about it. And I had thought about it before, but in the past I'd always thought I'm not hyperactive. Never been that kind of kid that ran around and couldn't sit still. So I just thought, well, it can't be me because I'm not hyperactive. So didn't think that, for that reason, I thought I don't have it. So what made me choose to pursue a formal diagnosis? I think once the seed had been sown, I couldn't let go of it then. I couldn't put it to rest. I had to see it through to the bitter end. But yeah, I went through that whole thing of asking myself, well, do I want the label? If I have the label, what am I going to do with it? How far do I want to go? Would I want to take medication? And at the time, I didn't think I would. So I thought, well, it all seems a bit pointless. I also was a bit fearful. I thought, yeah, they're probably going to say I haven't got it, and it's all going to be a bit of a waste of time. And I sort of tentatively talked to a few friends, and they just couldn't get it. They were like, Adrian, you've done university, you're a doctor, how on earth could you possibly have something like that? It just doesn't make sense. So in answer, I think, yeah, I just had to see it through and find out whether it was true or not. In the UK, you've got two options, NHS or private. And fortunately, I had the resources to go privately. And notoriously, there's just massively long waiting lists on the NHS. So and classic type, I was too impatient to wait. Even going privately, there was still a bit of a wait. For me, I thought it was very thorough, and it was extensive. And interestingly, I think when I've done self-assessments before, I've sometimes asked my other half to answer it as if he was me, to see whether or not my insight or my perception of who I am correlates to how other people see me. So the assessment involved my own questionnaire about myself and the issues that I had. My husband had to fill out a questionnaire as well about how he perceived the issues that he faced living with me, or that he could see that I struggled with. They also asked for childhood history. Sadly, both my parents would have passed away, and I did ask a school friend, but he didn't feel comfortable commenting on it. So I didn't actually do a childhood assessment, but fortunately that wasn't a deal breaker in terms of the process. Yeah, so that was the pre-assessment, and then I went for the interview, and yeah, that was quite grueling. Hard to keep attention. and focus. Yeah, a real mix of emotions, I think. It was a shock. I think I'd convinced myself out of the diagnosis, as I said before, when we were driving to the assessment. And I think when he said, yeah, you've definitely got attention deficit disorder, but not with the hyperactivity. But it was almost like that, yeah, there's no question, you have it. The certainty. It was a bit like, oh, wow, right, okay. It's kind of a relief, because I thought I'd been a real fraud, or that I was making it up, not making it up, but I just needed to get it together. And, it couldn't be as all the issues I had all my life with depression and burnout and multiple jobs and frustrations and just constantly trying to do better, be better, couldn't be all boiled down to this. And I guess in some ways it doesn't, but it just that this could almost encapsulate so many issues that I had for so long. So it was a relief, but then it was almost like, okay, what next? What do I do now? Like, now what? It's immediately your brain goes, now what? Now what? Where do I go? Where do I go? So yeah, a bit of a mix, but definitely a relief almost that it wasn't just down to me being a bit rubbish at life. So what's changed since 7 months since the diagnosis? Well, a lot, because I think I've become quite passionate about ADHD and the issues that it brings. I think it's given me a sense of focus and purpose. I spent a lot of time reconciling the past and making sense of it. I think there's a real hard challenge not to use it as a bit of a dustbin to dump all of your kind of shortcomings into it and use it as a blanket excuse. But at the same time, I think for me, and maybe for a lot, we drive ourselves so hard and we're so critical and we're so punishing and get so frustrated and angry with ourselves. It just gave me a chance just to kind of go, it's okay. You let go, just give yourself a bit of a hug. It's tough. And also to make connection with other people through the ADHD support group, meet like-minded individuals, to kind of realise that there's people that speak your language, and found my tribe. It was just lovely to make that connection as well, because it's so lonely. It's really hard to describe how isolated and alone you get, and that's not unique to having ADHD, but it's just hard to put in words how effortful just maintaining human connection can be, because everything feels so intense and so hard and so exhausting, and half the time you just want to curl up in a ball or sink into a dark corner and just sleep or run away, escape, be anywhere but where you are. It's been really nice to feel less isolated as well. As I say, to sort of make sense of the past, and also I think my relationship with my dad, because he's dead now, but I'm sure he had ADHD. It all makes sense, and we had a interesting, intense relationship. We were very close, but it was challenging. He was quite a challenging person. Very, very personable and a real character, but also had his challenges. So again, I think it helped me reconcile my relationship with my dad as well. So that was important. That was really important to me.
That's really good. So that's the diagnosis bit.
Okay.
Yeah.